Good morning, Yo Man here, March 28th, 2025. Well, today's Friday, last Friday of the month of the end of the first quarter. It'll be interesting to see if the bullion banks can push the price of silver back down under 34, or must they let it go past possibly even 35 today. We'll see. I don't think it's possible for them to push gold down below 3,000, but we'll see. Again, we'll see about that. On both accounts, they really need to, to half-ass control this for the next quarter. They need to have the end of the month end with silver under 34, really under 33.50 thereabouts, and they need to have gold close below 3,000. Some are calling for 2,800. I don't think they can smash it that hard. We'll see. One thing for sure, if they do manage to push it down under 30, silver under 33, or 33.50, and gold under 3,000, that'll be a short-lived dip. If you're planning on buying gold and silver, you might want to get prepared to do so, just in case we do get that dip. It will be very short-lived. In fact, you might find it hard at a local local coin shop to pick it up at that dip price. They might just hold their prices, in other words, raise their premiums for a few days, knowing that it's coming right back. In order to be able to exercise those dips, if they even come, they may not even come, but if they do, the only way you're going to be able to do that is at the big online shops. With that being said, most of them have got pretty decent premiums on them anyways. So I don't know, really weigh it out. See if it's worth buying online, or possibly picking it up at your local coin shop. See which one's got a better price. We'll see. Not sure they can do it anyways. It's getting awful tight. Their short positionings are becoming very dangerous to the central banks. And the reason I say that is there's a huge demand by institutional money for physical silver and physical gold across the world. There's lots of things going on across the world that's making several identities want to stack silver and gold, and especially gold. The bigger they are, the less room they have for silver, but they'll stack some silver too. And being more speculative, it's always good to at least have some silver. But with things the way they are across the world, the threat of war is pretty evident. It may or may not happen, but when you're sitting on, quite a bit of money that you've made over the last decade, and things are looking south, they'll reallocate some money to, or actually some fiat to gold and silver. And you're seeing that happen more and more across the world. The EU is talking about having CBDCs in place by October. some will say that they don't have, they're not close enough to be ready for October, but at any rate, that's their goal, whether they do it or not. They're warning people ahead of time, and by doing that, savers are going to buy more gold and silver across the world, especially the Eurozone, if you will. So expect that gold and silver will continue to rise through the next quarter. One interesting chart that Mineco 64 showed this morning is a comparison of a gold chart of today compared to the gold chart of the German Deutschmark, or the German mark. Gold through that period were there hyperinflation. There was hyperinflation, and our gold chart and their gold chart of that time is matching up pretty close. It's looking pretty similar. And what does that mean? Well, that means is we're headed towards and shaping up for not only hyperinflation, or not only inflation of our dollar, but hyperinflation. As the stock market turns over, more so it becomes more evident. You'll have more layoffs, and as you have more layoffs, the central banks will start printing. And at some point, more and more people are going to wake up to the fact that your dollar is going down fast. One of the banks, I can't remember which one, yesterday, God, I wish I could remember what bank, but they were telling investors that there's a possibility, if things line up just right, there's a possibility of gold being $4,500 by the end of the year. That's hyperinflation. That means a good number of people woken up and gone from the dollar to gold. And that's not good. That is not good. I mean, obviously, stackers want gold to go up, but when it goes up that fast, $1,500 in a year, in less than a year, actually, wow, that the dollar's done its toast. The jig is up, and then things start to get super weird after that. The other thing to keep in mind about silver, on March 31st, they're talking about, there's people on Reddit and elsewhere that are talking about doing a silver squeeze. In other words, encouraging their folks to get out there and buy as much silver on March 31st as they can to help break the bullion banks and really screw them on their short positions. Well, that sounds good. I wouldn't have no problem with helping screw the central banks that have been screwing, or the bullion banks that have been screwing us for many years. But the problem with that is, if they do, the sooner these bullion banks are broken, they will be, the sooner gold and silver goes parabolic. And when gold and silver goes parabolic, that makes it more difficult for stackers to stack, and those that are just awakening are going to have a much harder time to buy gold and silver. So they may in the short run hurt the bullion banks, but at the end of the day, they're really squeezing out any current stackers and new stackers. So got to watch what we wish for there. A couple things. One, Joshua Kelleher was talking about the only way, and this is from comments from the video from yesterday, the only thing he would trade his gold for was land. And to tell you the truth, that's what I've been thinking about for a long time now, is finding a decent piece of property. And once gold gets to a certain you know, of this certain height and land gets to a certain depth, that the two make sense, I wouldn't mind picking up a 80. But in the meantime, my thought process has changed. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I don't think people in the future will have a chance to stack gold. And so once that gold and or silver leaves your possession, I don't think you'll have the chance to pick it back up again in the future at any price. That is going to be the basis for whatever new monetary system. And am I saying gold and silver is going to be floating around out there in circulation? Probably not, but whatever system they come up with, it's going to have to be backed by gold and silver, and that means the country is going to need to buy it, or otherwise some talk about confiscation again like they did in 33. I don't see that. If they want gold and silver, all they got to do is raise the price. Get to the point where everybody's willing to give up. Sooner or later, you're going to cash your gold in or your silver in for the currency of the time, whatever that currency is. And then what you do with it from there, because they're going to inflate that currency away. So you're going to have to buy something quick, maybe be land. My thought process is that I would like to see the gold and silver that I've accumulated stay with the family for generations. And there's already banks that will loan you money against your gold and silver. Now, yeah, you're going to have to give it up out of your possession to get that money. But if you think of, even let's just say for stupid figures, ounce of gold goes 20,000. You need to buy a piece of land, or you want to buy a piece of land. Maybe all you need is $20,000 down on that piece of land, and you can borrow money against your against 1 ounce of gold, say. Or maybe that land comes down to the point where, you know, people can't afford taxes or whatever, and rather than giving it to giving it up to the government, they will sell that piece of land, maybe 80 acres for 1 ounce of gold. Who knows? But I would much rather than giving up that ounce of gold, I would rather borrow against that ounce of gold and buy that piece of property, and then just, if you will, make payments on that. And you can imagine in the future, with 1 ounce of gold as collateral, your interest rate on that loan is going to be pretty small, because the risk is pretty small, very small risk, if any risk really. If they're sitting on 1 ounce of gold and they borrow you, let's say, 85% of the value of the gold, they're not going to give you 100% value. There's got to be some margin in there. So let's say they give you 85% the value of the gold as a loan on your 1 ounce of gold. You know, then you buy your piece of property, but the gold is going to stay in the family as long as you're able to pay that loan back on your gold. If you don't, well, you lose your ounce of gold, but you still got the 80 acres. So whatever, you know, something along that lines. But I have no intent on using or selling or trading directly my gold or silver. It's going to be collateral for the family for the next couple of generations, and it's going to be my duty to get them to understand that it's not to be sold. That would be extremely foolish. Literally, it could last for generations. So that's where I'm at on that topic. Another question, MMP 1965 had is at what point do you sell your gold and silver? Again, I'm not going to sell it, but the other thing to think about is, if you don't have other preps, if you aren't prepped in food and shelter and so on, and lack of debt, you are going to spend whatever you manage to stack, you're going to spend to try and keep whatever you've got. And at the end of the day, you're still going to lose it. So, you know, a property that's not paid for, you got massive debt on it, you're going to lose that house. That's all there is to it. Debt is going to kill you in the near future. I would work on getting that debt paid down and do whatever the most preps you can do. I keep prepping all the time. I've got more than enough for myself and Sue. But at the end of the day, I don't know just how bad it's going to get and or how it's all going to shake out. But the more family you have around you, the more you need to stack. I feel it's the man's duty to do everything he can and go way beyond what he thinks he's going to need. In this new situation, God only knows how far it's going to go. Does that bleak? No, I don't think it is really. I think it's exciting. We need to be rid of the debt and the banks and the central banks and all the and Wall Street. They've all been fleecing us. Trump's working on getting rid of excess government. And once they get done cleaning up excess government in D.C., we need to look at our state and local governments and ourselves and realize that there's a lot of fraud there as well, and that needs to go. So that's something we can work on also in the future. It'll be pretty easy to do when nobody's got any money. There's going to be bitching about all the waste. So it'll be fairly easy to get rid of that waste when nobody's got any money and they don't have nothing left to steal. So we'll see how that goes. All right, guys, I thought I'd just touch base with you today. Again, like and subscribe if you would. Please leave a comment. Ask any questions you have. I'll do the best of my ability to either answer those questions or get answers to those questions if I don't know. One other quick thing I wanted to mention. In the stock market as of yesterday, there's 10 metrics to the stock market, and 8 out of 10 had been not doing as well as gold. And now, as of yesterday, 10 out of 10, gold is outperforming all 10 sectors of the stock market. The beginning of the end to the stock market is here. Keep an eye on the gold or on the bond market as well. Again, I don't think it's a safe place to be either. We'll see. All right, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great day. Bye.